Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm going to give it a few minutes as people start joining. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Nadia Rashid. I see a message asking about my name origin. I think my name originally is French. I'm not French myself, but the name Nadine is originally French. But all right, we can get started as we have a lot to cover today, and this is going to be recording. So again, thank you all for joining us today for this session of the Introduction to Fitwel. We're hosting these on a monthly basis, and I will be leading the session today. I am the Chief Product Officer here at Fitwel. So in this session, I'm going to go over the Fitwel products. If we can go to the next slide. Oh, I'm joined by my colleague Janelle here, who's helping me through this slide. So you'll hear me talking to her here and there. So in the session, I'm going to go over the Fitwel products, resources, and programs to help you get started and navigate the Fitwel world. But before we get into all of that, I'm going to give a quick overview on the value of healthy buildings and healthy building certifications. Basically, why we do the work that we do and why we think you should be using Fitwel across your assets and portfolios. So we can start with a brief overview of what is Fitwel. Next slide. Fitwel is an evidence-based healthy building certification with a mission to make every building a healthy building, regardless of its age, location, or budget. The Fitwel standard is optimized for existing buildings and new construction. It is simple, scalable, and flexible. It has no prerequisites or no on-site testing requirements, and is streamlined by our digital platform, which ensures that your certification journey remains efficient. I'm going to go over a lot of the stuff in that I'm covering in this brief overview of what Fitwel is, but just to help us get in the context. Next slide. Fitwel is operated by two separate entities. The Center for Active Design is our nonprofit arm and is responsible for maintaining the evidence base behind the Fitwel standard and is the third-party certifier. They're the third-party certifying entity. Active Design Advisors, Inc., or ADAE, is responsible for ensuring that the standard remains actionable and meets the evolving needs of the real estate industry. So let's start with talking about where the demand is coming for healthy buildings and healthy building certifications. Next. What we're seeing in the market today is that healthy spaces outperform traditional real estate. According to a report from the Global Wellness Institute, which you're seeing right now on the slide, some data from that report, the wellness real estate market is growing at 15.8% annually, projected to reach over $900 billion by 2028. Investors and tenants are demanding more than just space. They are demanding environments that promote well-being. Tenant expectations for a healthy building, for healthy focused spaces are rising, and investors are hearing this demand and also are prioritizing reporting goals and long-term value creation, which is starting to pull in some of the healthy metrics that we are seeing. Next. So the market is shifting towards healthy spaces the market shift towards healthy spaces really started post COVID-19 and is continuing with tenants demanding healthier and more resilient living environments and employees expecting their workplaces to support their health and well-being. Add to that, regulatory and investor requirements also include healthy metrics, and also impact investments is starting to include occupant well-being as well. So the market is really shifting, and it's showing that health is becoming an asset class differentiator, much like energy efficiency did in the past. And so we're also seeing that based on some of the research that our own Center for Active Design did with in partnership with one of our champions, our partner, Quadrille. Through this research study, we saw that health is connected to value and drives value. In the study, we found that Fitwel certified properties demonstrate a clear positive correlation between the Fitwel score and tenant satisfaction, which is usually measured by Net Promoter Score, NPS. We saw that properties with healthy food access, active strategies, and location advantages such as walkability and access to transit are reporting higher tenant satisfaction and higher rents for residential projects. We also saw that higher Fitwel scores are associated with the likelihood of occupants recommending buildings. All of this tells us that healthy buildings aren't just a trend, they are the future. So why certifications? Next slide. Again, looking at evidence and looking at research, a recent MIT study shows that assets that have healthy building certifications are outperforming their peers when it comes to rent and tenant satisfaction, resulting in 4.4 to 4.7 rent premiums per square footage. Healthy buildings drive market differentiation. They lead to an increase in return on investments. And healthy buildings really provide insights on how specific asset characteristics are linked to tenant satisfaction and market differentiation, providing a tool to directly respond to tenant demand. And this is where Fitwel comes in. Next. So the Fitwel standard, let's start digging in. We start with what are the challenges? Fitwel is answering the challenges that the industry is seeing. We've established that there is a demand for healthy buildings, and we established that there is a connection between healthy building certifications and value. The challenges that we see in the industry are challenges around the time it takes and complexity of certifications, the limited scalability of certifications, the lack of clear connection between how certain strategies or certain asset characteristics are linked to ROI, and the cost of certifications. Teams that are implementing certifications are small, as you guys know, and with limited budgets. So how does Fitwel support? Fitwel comes with a streamlined certification and review process. We have portfolio-wide applicability and scalability through our products, which I will go over shortly. We linked the Fitwel strategies to not only to how they impact health, but also to financial outcomes. I will dig more into that in a little bit. And we have a dynamic scoring system with no prerequisites that kind of offers a choose your own adventure implementation, where you select the strategies that meet the impact that you are aiming to get to in your certification and your goals. And to top it all, we are cost effective. And again, I will dig into that as we get into the specific Fitwel products as well. Next. And since the launch of Fitwel, we've been in the market since 2017. Since the launch of Fitwel, we've established our position as a trusted partner in the industry by maintaining our standard rigor and our third-party certification process. I talked about Fitwel being cost-effective and broadly applicable. It is applicable to a diverse set of assets of all sizes and locations. And although the standard is really applicable to both existing and new construction, it is optimized for existing buildings. That was how Fitwel was originally created, to impact existing buildings, which makes it easier and applicable to 100% of assets within a portfolio. Talking more about the breadth of the applicability and of Fitwel, given that we don't have any prerequisites or on-site testing, it makes the standard easier to implement and scale across properties as well. And the dynamic scoring that I just mentioned earlier gives property owners and gives you the ability to select the strategies that align with your unique investment goals and the unique tenant demand. The Fitwel standard is also backed by global research evidence base, which I'll talk about also in more depth, which connects the Fitwel strategies to both health and economic outcomes, making that connection between health promoting strategies and value creation and financial outcomes within assets and portfolios. And also, it directly responds to customer demand by demonstrating how specific interventions within a space are impacting the health of occupants. Fitwel is backed by a global. I see a question that I'm kind of like my eyes going to, which is it applicable in the European market? The research base behind Fitwel is global, and so going into our global impact, we are now impacting over 2.6 million people across 1.2 billion square feet and over 60 countries. So yes, we are global in North America and across multiple countries, as you can see on the map. We have nearly 3,000 assets that have been certified and growing, with over 5,500 properties registered for recertification right now. And so talking about the evidence behind Fitwel, as I mentioned, Fitwel is an evidence-based standard backed by more than 7,000 research studies that connect each of the strategies to a measurable health impact and an economic impact. All the strategies in the Fitwel standard are connected to one or more health impact, and there are a subset of the strategies have a direct connection to economic impact as well, and we'll dig into that. This ensures that when you implement the standard on your properties, you are able to measure and track the impact of your efforts, giving you a data-backed roadmap for incremental improvement and market differentiation. So how do we do it? We take the research base and we translate it into actionable strategies that help improve tenant health and satisfaction. We help users through our standard. We're able to help users in your reporting and our clients in the reporting goals and creating portfolio differentiation, asset and portfolio differentiation. And we have tailored solutions for diverse users' needs and diverse applications. And all of that is backed by our evidence base, so it's all scientific and practical. And recently, in the last few months, we released the new version of the Fitwel standard, Fitwel V3. This latest version reflects the latest research and evidence base behind the Fitwel strategies, and that support all of the Fitwel applications and product lines. We also enhanced our technology with our smart scorecard, which reduces the documentation needs by 50% when compared to the previous version. We introduced multiple tools for efficiency and streamlining the documentation process for new projects and for projects that are going through recertification in order to support project teams in streamlining the certification process and reducing the time it takes and the effort it takes for documentation and to achieve certification. And also, V3 is aligned with global reporting frameworks such as GRESB and the EU taxonomy, again, creating more of a link between Fitwel and the broader reporting frameworks. Next. Okay. So I've been talking about how every strategy in the Fitwel standard is linked to a health impact. We have 7 health impact categories that we track and measure on the Fitwel platform and through the Fitwel standard. And like I said, every strategy in the Fitwel standard is linked to one or more of these health impact categories. And it is done by, the association between the health impact category and strategy is based on the evidence that supports a strategy. We also include now recently through V3, we've included the economic impact categories that are implemented on a subset of the Fitwel strategies, and we have 5 of these economic impact categories. We can go to the next slide and show how we did this overlay. So in the middle, you see the Fitwel strategies. This is all of it. These are not all, this is a subset, obviously. This is an example of the Fitwel strategies. We have about 100 plus Fitwel strategies that across the standard. Every single strategy in the library is connected to the health impact category. And a subset of these strategies, we did the overlay of the economic research to see which of these strategies are directly linked to economic impact. And we created a subset of the strategies to demonstrate how these, implementing health promoting interventions in your assets can also link to economic impact and drive value. And so our strategies are, they cover different categories. Some of the topics that we cover are location, policies, stair use, and amenities. We also look at design aspects. So stair use goes under the design strategies. Policies are operational policies, such as tobacco and smoke-free policies, indoor air quality policy, how the building and the assets are operated. Location strategies are based on where the building is located, access to transit, and amenities is what amenities are provided within the asset themselves, such as break rooms or multipurpose rooms, and all of these things are again associated to health promotion. Next. Okay, so when I've been talking about how we translate research into a health impact and also value impact, I'm going to give a quick example to just help visualize this for everyone. So we know that green roofs can lead to up to 40 degrees Fahrenheit to cooler spaces and cooler environments than conventional roofs, which contribute to lowering the surrounding temperature by about 5 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the data piece that we're working with. We take this data and we translate it we put it into an actionable strategy. So we have a strategy in the Fitwel standard, which targets reducing heat island effect. The health rationale, how the strategy impact health is that we know that that reducing heat island effect can lead to lowering heat-related mortality and hospitalization. And then we connect that to value. So the next slide, we see how not just that reducing heat island effect lowers heat-related mortality and hospitalization, it also heat mitigation strategies can yield to up to $50 per reduced degree in rental premiums, which go over $1,000 in energy savings per building. This is one example of multiple strategies in the Fitwel standard for up to 40 strategies in the Fitwel standard that have that link between health and value. And so going into now that we've covered the science behind it and kind of given you an overview of how we translate research into health promoting strategies and connect the health promoting strategies to value, let's get into the actual products of Fitwel and how you can start implementing them. So we offer two complementary products. Our core product is the Fitwel Asset Certification, which is a star-rated certification. And more recently, we released a new product line, FSP, which is designed for scale certification. Both of these products are supported by the Fitwel standard, as I explained earlier, backed by the same evidence, backed by the same research base. They do not include any prerequisites. They both follow the same third-party certification process to ensure the rigor of both products, and they're both optimized for existing portfolios and existing assets in addition to new construction. I'm going to talk about the different aspects and when to use which of these products, and then talk about the different asset types and applications that can be used through both asset certification and FSP. So the asset certification, it is our star-rated certification. It is really targeting asset by asset certification. And you should use this product when you're looking for market differentiation, when you're looking for incorporating health promoting strategies in a specific assets, and elevating the aspects of the asset that are directly connected to health promotion, and it elevating the competitive edge of your assets. The standard, the asset certification also meets the regulatory standards and frameworks that I mentioned earlier as well. So asset certification is, like I said, it's a star rating certification with a minimum of 1 star and maximum of 3 stars. To achieve a minimum of 1 star, you need to get to 90 points. I mentioned earlier that Fitwel offers a flexible way of achieving certification and star rating. So basically with no prerequisites and no requirements, you choose your own adventure of how to get to the 90 points based on which strategies and which aspects of your assets you want to focus on. To get to the 90 points with a 1-star certification. Every strategy is scored based on the evidence that supports that strategy, and that's how you get to the 90 points and continue to do incremental improvements to enhance your star rating. Once a certification is achieved, you will have access to the certification itself to celebrate your achievements, and also a plaque and that you can put on your buildings, whether it's a decal or an actual wooden plaque is what we have, a wooden plaque and a glass plaque that you can use on your assets. And this aims to showcase the achievements of the assets. The certification is valid for 3 years. After 3 years, you can start the recertification process. As for the pricing for Fitwel asset certification, the registration to get started with asset certification, you start by registering your project on the Fitwel platform, and the fee for that is $500. That gives you access to the Fitwel platform and the scorecard and the tools for such as gap analysis to start implementing the strategies on your assets and working towards a STAR certification. The certification cost is based on square footage, starting with $7,500, making this one of the cheapest certifications on the market for asset certification. Next. Moving to FSP. FSP is our scale certification designed to capture 100% of assets within your portfolio. FSP is a performance certification. It's still an asset certification, but across an entire portfolio. It applies to 100% of assets. It is cost effective and efficient. Again, it has no minimum requirements or thresholds. There is no different from our asset certification. FSP does not require a minimum threshold to achieve certification. Because it's a performance approach, it looks at how the asset is performing, and so we do not require a threshold to meet the certification requirement. Once certification is achieved, you will receive every asset that achieves certification will receive a certificate, of course. But in addition to that, the FSP gives you access to the certified performance report. The report shows you how you sit against your peers within the industry. This report that shows the performance of the assets, but also of the portfolio as a whole against the Fitwel strategies, and creates a benchmark of where the asset and the portfolio sits against the peers using the same asset type. This shows both, as you see here, as you see on the screen. It also, you can't see my pointer, but you can see both the health impact categories and the economic impact that each strategy has, that your portfolio and your assets are impacting. It focuses on health impact, environmental benefits, and the economic value. Next. In addition to showing you where the portfolio itself sits against the strategies and benchmarking it against the peers, the report also gives a table showing how each asset is performing and benchmarking it against all the assets within your portfolio, in addition to the peer performance as well. So the value of this report is that it gives you access to market differentiation of your portfolio as a whole. It gives you access to differentiation of your assets against each other and against the industry. And hopefully it would also help inform your investment strategy for specific assets and for your portfolio. When it comes to pricing, FSP is priced differently than asset certification. It's a one-time fee for accessing the platform, the scorecard, and completing the certification. Although it still follows the same certification review process. It's at $1,000 per asset to get access to the certification and the benchmark report, and $750 per asset for just accessing the report if you choose not to go through the certification process as a whole. And right now we are offering a promotion of a discount for up to 10% if you submit your assets before the end of the month. Just go back 1 second. FSP offers, again, FSP, because FSP is based on the subset of strategies that are linked to economic value. So it is, as I mentioned earlier, the subset of strategy that we overlaid the economic research, and selected a subset of strategies that have a direct link to economic impact and value. And these are the strategies that are in the FSP scale certification. It complies with regulatory frameworks. It creates that alignment. So it supports reporting goals. It's proven. It has the evidence base that supports the impact of the strategies on increasing ROI and long-term value, creates market differentiation, and of course attracts tenant retention as well, similar to the asset certification. And both the asset certification and FSP give you access to a gap analysis, helping you understand the areas of strength and areas where you can make improvements to support a roadmap for incremental change and incremental improvement over time. Another differentiating factor of FSP from asset certification is, unlike the asset certification, FSP is an annual certification, where once you've achieved the first certification, the next year you go back and you confirm that the strategies are still implemented and that the performance is still as initially submitted. This makes the recertification process also efficient and easy, given that this is a subset of the strategies of the asset certification. Next. I think, sorry, going back, I think the slides are a little out of order, but going back to asset certification real quick, the original pricing that we showed was the pricing for building certifications. Asset certification offers both building and site certification. Our building certification is specifically targeting buildings, and the site certification is looking at larger scale sites and neighborhood scale and industrial scale. So the pricing differs. It's still $500 for registration, but it's also based on the size of the project and acreage. So the first 20 acres are at $14,000, and then increases as your project size increases. All right. Both asset certification and FSP offer a diverse application across asset types and different pathways. So I said earlier, Fitwel is optimized for both existing and new construction. And so you see on the screen here the pathways. We have a design certification pathway and a build certification pathway. The design certification pathway is for new construction. Any project at any phase pre-occupancy will go through the design certification pathway, and projects that are occupied will go through the build certification pathway. So fit outs and everything will go through the build certification pathway. This is for both FSP and for both of our product lines, FSP and asset certification. Also, both product lines can be implemented across a diverse asset types. We have building application, which covers workplace and commercial buildings, retail, multifamily residential, senior housing, student housing, and different types of applications that can fit under any of these scorecards. Additionally, we have the larger scale certification, which I just mentioned earlier, which is our site scorecards that cover both commercial and industrial sites and community scale projects. The site scorecard, the site application focuses on all the areas between the buildings, not necessarily the buildings themselves. So you're focusing your certification on the context where people are occupying the spaces. Next. And so how do we get started? First step, go to the Fitwel platform and register your project. Once you register your project, you get access to the digital scorecard. And you will be able to start engaging with the Fitwel strategies and looking at the requirements, documenting and assessing your project. We recommend that the next step after assessment is to benchmark your project, see where you are, establish your baseline, see where you are, and make incremental improvements as you go. We offer on the Fitwel platform, we offer a gap analysis tool which shows you which strategies have the highest impact, so you can start prioritizing those if that is the pathway you want to go in. And also it shows you both where your areas of strength are. So what are you doing really well? These can be used for your marketing materials, and also where you can make improvements based on the level of impact that you're trying to achieve. Once you've done benchmarking, you know your baseline, now start documenting. You can go in and every strategy has detailed requirements and documentation that you can follow. Start documenting your strategies. Once documentation is complete, you can submit for review. The review process is between 12 to 16 weeks, and it includes a 4-week period where you can respond to the Fitwel team's comments on your documentation. The Center for Active Design team will look at the documentation and give you feedback or questions if the documentation is not clear, and offers you an opportunity to respond to these comments in order for you to improve your score and ensure that you meet the star rating that you're aiming for. And finally, you get certified once the review process is complete. And once that is complete, you will get access to all the resources, the certifications, the plaques, the reports if you're going through FSP, and your project will be certified. Once that is done, you can start recertification anytime you choose for both FSB and asset certification. Asset certification, like I said, is a 3-year certification. However, if you choose to start recertifying before the 3 years are over, you can. But once the 3 years are complete, your project will be considered expired and you will need to recertify it. And FSP is on the annual cycle. And also both of our product lines get you points for GRESB. Both asset certification and FSB, once you've achieved certification, you can use that certification towards your GRESB points. Like I said, there is alignment between between the Fitwel standard and GRESB, in addition to other frameworks. But certifying Fitwel will get you credit for GRESB. So we know the deadline's approaching. Go ahead and submit before the 31st so you can boost your GRESB scores. And I want to get into what the platform looks like. So next slide. We've talked about the standard, we've talked about the science, we've talked about the products, and we've talked about how you go ahead and you start with all the steps to get into certification, to get your certification. When you first get into the dashboard, we're looking here at a portfolio view, which looks at all the assets that are within a specific portfolio, demonstrating the impact based on the strategies that are being pursued. So you can see the health impact categories, how the project and how all the assets are scoring towards the health impact categories. And in addition to that, the economic impact categories, this feature is going to be released on the platform in the next month or so. And it shows you also how each of the strategies that are pursued through your asset certification and FSB are impacting the economic categories that are associated with the strategies. And at the top corner, you can track where you are in the process, so you can see how many of your projects are still going through documentation, how many have been submitted, and how many have been expired. This becomes more granular. So next. when you access a specific project, this is an overview of the project, of an asset or a specific project page, where you start seeing how the project is tracking towards a star rating. So this is an in-progress project, the example that we're seeing here, and it's showing you how it's tracking towards the points and star rating, how many strategies are completed or waiting to be completed, and then the impact, the economic impact. The health category, the health impact is as well shown on this dashboard as well, in addition to your certification timeline that you can see at the bottom. The Fitwel strategies are organized within sections, which you can navigate and jump between sections on the side. Once you get into one of the sections, you can start seeing the strategies. Next slide. And so you can see how every strategy is again linked to the impact categories, whether it's health or economic. There are the specific requirements associated with the strategy, and to help you understand what documentation needs to be submitted, and how you can answer every strategy as it's applicable to your project. And at the top, you can access the gap analysis tool, which again is really important to help you benchmark and also give you a roadmap for incremental improvements over time. Sorry, one thing to point out is that we also have other webinars that we've given specifically about the Fitwel platform. We continue to enhance our Fitwel platform to create more efficiency for the teams that are using Fitwel. We recently released efficiencies that really help streamline the process. So I do encourage you to go back and look at our website and look at some of these webinars if you're interested. We also offer resources. So for FSP, we have the resources are really aimed to help you understand the Fitwel products and to help you work with your teams and with your clients on implementing Fitwel. So the Fitwel FSP, the scale certification, we include the reports, the strategies checklist, and a deck that helps you present that the product to and engage with your stakeholders. Similarly for asset certification, next. Similarly, for asset certification, we offer similar resources, such as the primer, crosswalks. Specifically, that asset certification has been around for a longer time and it has multiple versions. The crosswalks really help you navigate between the different versions, so you can better understand the changes that happened between the different standards and facilitate the process for your recertification process. Additionally, decks and change logs and other resources. In addition to all of that, we have the Help Center, next slide, where you can access all of the Fitwel strategies and all of the Fitwel resources. You can also access our team directly through the Help Center for questions. And we give step-by-step guidance to simplify the onboarding process, and to help you really understand how to document and how to how to achieve certification. And like I said, webinars similar to this one. This is a monthly webinar that we've started this year. We continue to have these webinars. We house our previous webinars on our website. Again, really encourage you to go back and look at some of those if you have that are targeting specific aspects of Fitwel. We are hosting a best practices session on the 26th of this month, so tune in. That session is really aimed at really looking at the best practices of how to implement Fitwel across your assets and portfolios. And we are leading the movement. We have multiple programs that support our users at different levels. So moving to the next slide. So first, we have our ambassador program. Our ambassador program is really targeting individuals. That's our that gives you training on the science behind Fitwel, on what is Fitwel, how to use it, the different products, more in depth from this session. This is a quick overview. We have about 5,000 ambassadors to date, over 800 cities and 78 countries. For the person who was asking earlier about our global reach and our global application, this is one of the demonstrations of that. Next, we have our champion company program. This is targeting, again, specific companies who are really looking at implementing Fitwel at scale. Champion companies receive priority access to Fitwel data, industry insights, and recognition opportunities. They also are the companies that are able to demonstrate how health-aligned real estate strategies attract tenants, investors, and long-term financial returns. We have at least 42 champion companies and about 2,000 projects across 17 different countries. Our next program is, I'm looking at time. Our next program is our provider program, which is really aimed at the companies that support that providers and consultants that support that support the industry. Again, there are specific perks for becoming a provider. You have access to our team and to resources to help support the implementation of Fitwel with your clients as well. At the time, we have about 30 champion providers with 762 projects across 26 countries. And this is just an example of our current champion and providers that are using Fitwel. I don't know what's going on, Janelle. That are using Fitwel across their portfolios and at scale. And as you can see, some of these names up here, I'm sure you're familiar with many of those. So really encourage you to reach out to us and ask more about these programs, become a Fitwel ambassador, and join our webinars. I do want to end with, if we can go to the last slide, Janelle. I do want to say that we are currently offering a 10% discount on both FSP and asset certification. So go ahead and start registering and certifying your projects to take advantage of this discount. And there is still time for boosting your GRESB score. If you achieve your if you submit your projects by the end of the month, you will have time to get your certification in time for the GRESB deadline. Well, thank you all for listening. Please feel free to reach out. And I think we have a few minutes for questions if we have any. All right. Well, I will.
Nadine,
I'm
I
looking.
did see a question that wasn't answered. Just can you speak to the difference between Fitwel and other certification programs specifically well?
Yeah. If we can go back to, can you go back to the slide? And I wish I was navigating, Janelle. You were right. Yeah. So one of the biggest differentiators of Fitwel from other certification systems is the fact that we don't have any requirements around on-site testing or prerequisites. And also the cost of Fitwel is at a very competitive to the rest of the industry and to other certification systems. I'm trying, Janelle, if you just keep going back up a little. Yeah, so I'm actually going to. Yeah, so the fact, like I said earlier, like the no prerequisites and no prerequisites and no on-site testing is a big differentiator. Our cost is a big differentiator as well from other certifications. And the fact that we are now connecting, we are able to connect Fitwel strategies not only to health impact categories, but also to impact on asset value as well and the economic impact that the strategies have. All of these give us really, we are first to market in all of these, and we are really gives us a differentiation between us and other certifications in the market.
Great. I think that was
And
the last question that we did not cover, so that's great.
all right, thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Bye.